Hello, this is Watch All About with another watch review, and in this review we're looking at a watch from a brand called Carrnegie, and this is the classic rose gold white. So obviously the rose gold is related to the case, the white is the dial. It comes in a variety of different options. This will set you back with an RRP of $189, or that's roughly about £145. However, you can use a special Watch All About code, which is WIAACW. That's WIAACW, which will give you 15% off. That makes it $160 or about £127. And if you ask me, it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool watch for the money. As we'll discuss it in closer detail, you know, there's lots of different unique aspects to it. Nicely made, nicely manufactured as well. And, you know, a unique watch at that kind of price nowadays is quite unusual to come across. So really, really impressed with what they've done. And the price that they've delivered it at as well. So it's obviously quite a splendid dress watch, as you can see by the very smart kind of dial of design of the dial. Let's discuss some of the specs first. So I have a 7¼ inch wrist for reference. If I can get it on, there we go. So we have a diameter of 41 mil. And then a height of 11.5 mil, and a lug-to-lug length of 49.5 mil. Now the lug-to-lug length is longer than you would expect, mainly because of the distinctive styling of the lugs. As you can see, the strap is slipped within this container almost, and obviously that's all very solid. So you're not necessarily having two little side lugs on the side, either side of the strap. But the 41 mil diameter is a pretty nice size. I like to think, you know, it suits my size wrist. Anything above 7 inches, I think it will fit quite nicely. And then the height of 11.5 mil is pretty slender as well. So it certainly has all the right ticks for a dress watch. Weight-wise, it's 82 grams, so pretty nice and comfortable. No complaints there whatsoever either. Water resistance is 5 atmospheres or 50 meters, so you are covered for any accidental drops in water or anything like that. Obviously, don't go swimming with it because it's not a specific diving watch, but you know, you are covered there for anything accidental. The movement is by Seiko S2, and it's the VD75, which is pretty good. You know, a nice, decent, solid movement. And as you can see, we have it's quartz. However, we have a sweeping second hand, which is one of the pretty cool features of it. It's known as a mecha quartz. And as you can see, we have a day indicator at 9, date at 3, and then 24-hour indicator at 6. So, you know, fairly unusual dial layout. And an unusual choice for a movement, but that's one thing that goes in its favour. It's something a little bit different, I think. And again, I can't help but mention the price. It's, you know, such a cool thing for the price that you're paying for. Moving on to the strap. I've already mentioned the unusual lugs. Well, the strap width is pretty unusual as well. Strap width is coming in at 21 mil. Now that might upset a few people because a lot of people have obviously the main sizes are 20 mil or 22 mil. If you have a 21 mil lug, none of those straps are going to fit. So the quality of the strap is pretty good, so you're not going to be desperate to change it, so that's a plus. However, if you do have existing straps that you'd want to strap on it, you'd have to make sure it's 21 mil. It's not something we come across very often. For instance, the Orient Bambino is quite a well-known one as well. But you know, it's not a massive mark against it, but it's just one of those things where you have to be aware of. And then finally, you get a 3-year warranty with this watch as well, which is pretty good. You know, considering they're a relatively new brand, you know, you probably would have expected just a standard year's warranty. So it's good that they've got a lot of faith in their watches. Okay, so let's have a look at it in closer detail. Starting off with the dial then. So first of all, the dial has this really, really nice texturized base, silvery, champagne-y colour to it, really, really classy. And then these applied hour markers, really thick, really good quality as well. And as you can see, they're batons with a sort of angled tip to them, but again, really nice quality, really good. And as you can see, when I get it caught in the light, they're fully polished, so they really do pick up the light really nicely. We have Dauphine hands as well. The well, for the hour and the minute hands, they're pitched, as you can see. We get a nice little collection of reflections there. And then the other hands are all pretty straightforward, pointed tips. So everything's, really well put together, well manufactured. As you can see, we have the subdials as well. And as we get the macro lens on a little bit later, you'll see they have concentric circular patterns as well. Nice close attention to detail for the price. And then surrounding the outside, we have like a sort of little bit of a step and a little bit of detailing for our minute track as well. So the print work really fine. The logo looks great at 12 as well. I do like the double R logo. I'm glad they've opted for printed because it keeps it really sleek, really slim, slender, and elegant and classy as well. So I think that fits it perfectly. So really simple design. I mean, if I was going to be really, really picky, I think the subdials might seem a little bit close together, but only because I'm used to seeing the slightly wider layout of like a 7750 automatic chronograph movement, for instance. So because it's quartz, the layout is ever so slightly different. That's just confusing me a little bit visually. However, it's not necessarily a negative at all. I really, really dig it. I think it looks really smart on as well. Moving on to the case then. So, as I mentioned before, really unusual case shape. Pretty much the lugs are the most unusual thing about it. But I really like the stepped bezel as well. And you can see we have a single domed crystal on it as well. But polished bezel and polished corner of the lugs, and then brushed side, brushed top of the lug as well. And then if we flip it over, having a look at the case back, fully brushed case back, except we have this polished shoulder on the bottom as well. So a nice collection of finishes, polished and brushed. Everything goes well together, obviously. And I like the way that they've kept the brushing on the lugs vertical as well, rather than horizontal, because that sort of brings it all nicely together in the dial. And then finally, if we move over here to the crown, we have a pretty unusual shape, very slender, which is great. Obviously it's quartz, so you're not going to use it too much, but it does fray out nicely with decent grip. I mean, we'll be able to look at it closer with the macro lens on shortly, but it has the double R logo embossed on the end as well. It's good to know, obviously, that because the strap is pushed into the lug, we have drilled through holes either side, so it is easy to push in there and release the pin. So that's good plus. And then the case back, finally, we have these details, nice and deeply engraved, good quality, nicely done. Moving on to the strap then. I prefer this kind of matte kind of finish to a patent finish, so that's a good plus. I think the oaky brown works really well with the rose gold as well. No complaints whatsoever. It's not the most groundbreaking strap or the most amazing quality, but with an RRP of $190 or £145 ish, you're not going to expect the most amazing strap in the world. So they've done a really good job keeping it decent quality for the price. And then finally we have a butterfly clasp with the butterfly aspect of it itself is pretty standard. However, the top bar is probably a little bit thicker than you would normally associate with this standard kind of butterfly clasp, and it's brushed, which is good, better than polished, because that will scratch like a beast. And again, we have the double R logo deeply engraved as well. Again, the attention to detail and the quality really does impress for the price. Okay, let's get the macro lens on then, and we'll have a look at it in even closer detail. So, starting off with the dial. Here you can see the textured base to the dial and our print work, very nice and fine. Moving over to our hour markers. So you can see they're polished, nicely finished, nicely applied and manufactured as well. Moving on to our subdials, as you can see, nice bit of texture there, concentric circular pattern, then a very slight border around the outside as well, separating it all nicely, and our hands polished, straightforward points as well. Really good finishing for the price. No complaints whatsoever. Then around the outside we have this printed minute track as well. And if we find the seconds hand, here we go, you'll be able to see the ticking, 5 ticks per second usually. There we go. Okay, moving on to the case then. Start off with this brushed finish to the lug. As you can see, our polished corner joining onto our brush side. Really good sharp edges, and a polished top of the bezel also. If we spin that around, we can join up to the other. And then on the other side we have our crown. There's the double R logo, and we can see the sort of flowering out and the really nice grip as well. So you can see, it's so small but almost like a miniature work of art. So really impressive. Moving on to the case back, so fully brushed, and here we have the logo nice and deeply engraved in the center, and then we have some details engraved around the outside as well. And then finally moving on to the strap, the alligator print. And then here's finally the buckle. Decent vertical brushing, and the logo again really deeply, impressively engraved as well. Okay, so I've been really impressed by it. I think from a design point of view, it has been a bit of a grower on me. I think to begin with, when I first opened the box, I was impressed. I was like, hey, this is a nice watch for the money. But as I've really closely inspected it, I've actually come to appreciate how much hard work has gone behind the scenes. It really is a great watch for the money. Everything about it is custom or unique, or Carrnegie have designed it really well, and it's really great that you can get it for $160 or £127 with the code WIACW. That gives you 15% off the RRP. The dial, really smart, elegant, well manufactured, decent quality hour markers as well. Really nice and thick, and just the general finishing of the case as well. No matter what angle you look at it, something catches the light, and it just looks really well manufactured, really well finished as well. And then obviously just the strap goes really well. Whilst the strap isn't excellent quality, it's still very good for the price. So I've really enjoyed it, and I think the only thing holding back some people might be the looks. Maybe the unusual lug might be a little bit out there for some people. However, in this current market, that is what people are after, something unique, something a little bit different, because it is pretty saturated with similar looking watches, and I think Carrnegie have done a really great job of making something a little bit different. So well done to them, and especially making something look different but still affordable. So they've done a really good job with that as well. So this was the Carrnegie Classic Rose Gold White, and that's what it's all about. Thanks for watching, guys. So make sure you subscribe, like, and comment as well. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Cheers, guys.